So yeah, whenever our babies don't have to deal with this because we have taught them how to care, not someone else, because whenever they look and they see someone that doesn't look like them, how is that going to make them feel? They're not going to feel confident whenever the face has changed. And this is all, like, afros are not already shown enough. They're not shown enough already. So what do you think is going to happen if all of this inclusiveness, I mean, support it, love you, and I'm not saying their hair is not beautiful, I mean, but they have outlets. We just created some. Just think about what our black girls go through. And I want you to think about that. This is not to argue or bicker. I'm just think. Please, think about it. Let it marinate. Let it marinate on you. Soak in it. Listen to what I'm saying. Hear me out. Doesn't mean I'm racist. It's just like, there's a special place in my heart. And I see it and I think you know it too. Why this is important. And I'm like, nothing against other women of other races, but we just know that this was created by women of color for women of color. And when I say women of color, I mean all shades and all of our hair types. We are the minority already. They don't make space for us out there, so we had to make space for us. I don't know. We'll just wake up. Yeah. Okay, so this is part 2, and I'm going to name this one Why the Natural Hair Movement, the going natural, is important. And yeah, the last video, my thoughts were kind of all over the place, and I said that at the beginning of the video. So for those of you who kept up and followed along, you guys all get a sticker. Because I know that at the time my thoughts were kind of all over the place, and I had just started seeing all of the Curly Nikki post stuff, and I already had a lot of stuff on mine. I'm passionate about talking about all that. Actually, and I didn't even mention in the last video, the reason why I even knew about all of that, Julesy had tagged me in a Twitter post, and then which led me to Chescalay's posts, which were all about the Curly Nikki, and then I saw the Curly Nikki post, and then I started reading all the comments, and I was like, oh my gosh, I want to talk about it. So yeah. So by the time I talked about it, like the next day, my thoughts were still kind of all, and I'm still seeing it play out. So definitely time for a part 2. So to kind of help, because I mean there may be a part 3, 4, 5, 6, because as you all can see, I can talk, and I am the more vocal sister, as you can see. And I also wanted to mention that because I know some of the other videos you guys say that Toni and Carmen don't talk about it. It kind of just goes in birth order. That is, we're passionate about different things. Carmen's an artist, and Carmen's actually the quiet one. That's just a part of her personality. And Toni is like extra silly. So it's just, we all have, you know, it's just our personality, and this is a part of mine. So because I can talk on and on about things like this, which I think I'm like already 2 minutes in this video, I wrote down some notes. So if you see me looking down, it's because I'm trying to stay trying to stay on track. So you know, I was really just trying to explain the last video why, you know, women were upset, and I absolutely understand it. So I mean, approaching this in a way to where we can talk about it, because my whole thing, let's talk about this and not argue and bicker, because it's creating more division already. And that's not going to help us at all. So let me start. Where am I gonna start? Something I said in the last video. Going natural is not the same as saying you have natural hair, because there are so many women and different races that have had natural hair their entire life. So of course, duh, your hair is natural, and I want every woman to feel that her hair is natural and it's beautiful, and we all celebrate it. But there was a need, and we don't need to me, in my opinion, we don't need to lose focus as to why the natural hair movement was created in the first place. So let me, I wanted to show an example which is going to lead to why I feel the natural hair movement is important, and we should stay at the forefront of the movement. So how many of you used to like put on shirts? Just kind of to relate, because I always go back to kids. How many of you used to put on shirts and like kind of just pretend that it was your hair. So if you think I look silly wearing this, just know it's because I'm trying to make a point as to why this is important. So I used to do this. Me and my sisters, we would do this and kind of play around like, oh, that's my hair. And I never really thought about why. I would pretend that I had this long flowy, it was usually a white shirt, white hair. And to me that plays a part as to why the natural hair movement is important, because I always keep our babies in mind, kids, and it will not be a movement. Let me quote my best friend. What did my best friend, she said? She said, it will just be a movement. My best friend, I was talking to her about this. She's like, it'll just be a movement, and it won't become a part of our lifestyle. It won't be a lifestyle if we pretty much let it go and kind of, you know, share. Oh, become a way of life for women of color. So it will just be this movement, short-lived movement, and won't become a way of life for women of color. And my point is, we have not gotten to where it is a way of life. We're not there yet. And let me go back to why we're not there yet. Should I take this off? You don't want to see my blowout? I think I'm gonna keep it on. So the natural hair movement was created by women of color for women of color. It really, that's why it was started. It was somewhere where we can go and get resources and all those things, and I talked about that in the last video. But I got off topic in the last video from the Curly Nikki post to discuss our struggles within, and I did that for a reason. I don't think I was really clear about it, because we struggle with quite a few things, and it's the division between our hair types, which I hate the hair typing system, and people always ask me what my hair type is, and I'm like, I have a lot of stuff going on up there. And but it's the division we have between like type 3s and type 4s and things like that, and it's keeping us divided, and we're not going to get anywhere divided, and that's making room for others to push in, because there's this space there, and we need to be a tight unit in order for this to move forward and to actually make a change. But I don't know, some women may not think it's that deep, but I absolutely do, because I don't want little girls going around pretending this is their hair when they could really have this beautiful head full of natural hair themselves if their moms actually knew how to care for it. And if we don't get it to where more women are inspired to go natural, like their moms learn how to do their hair, because the girls won't ever get there if their moms don't know what to do. Right after I posted that video, the next day I was at the post office and I ran into a lady that was like, oh my gosh, I love your afro. She's like, I just permed my daughter's hair and I regret it because it broke off so bad. Little girls in elementary, that's what happens to a lot of us. It broke off so bad because I just couldn't take it anymore. I didn't know what to do with it. And of course she wasn't natural and didn't know how to do. She's like, I tried to go natural. I just, I can't go natural, but my mom has that, silky curly stuff, so she has the good hair to go natural. And I mean, what women don't understand, I keep saying this in the video, it's not until we reach those women and we keep reaching other women to where we can get to this place where, once she learns how to do her hair, she can take care of her daughter's hair, and her daughter would actually have a chance to learn to love up. Her daughter will have a chance to grow up to learn to love her hair, because her mom taught her, passed things on, taught her how to detangle and how to section her hair and how to do her twist outs and her braid outs. But if mom's not there, the daughter won't get there, and then we're just gonna have this cycle. And I just see so many girls in elementary they get perms like 2nd, 3rd grade. There's some, of course, before, and you see a lot of girls, like some people think black girls are lying or something whenever they say, oh, whenever I was little I had really long hair. That is the case a lot of the times, because you grew your hair, let's say maybe 5 years before your mom, 5 or 6 years before your mom decided to relax your hair. You get that first relaxer, it's swinging, and then when I see them get to 5th grade and then on up to middle school, I mean, the breakage, if they're not seeing a professional stylist, which how many can really afford that, the breakage is so terrible, and it's heartbreaking, because I know what it could really, like, the potential it has, but everybody's like, oh, black girls, bad hair, blah 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 blah, and there's this relationship that we start to have with our hair, this hate. And it's like, oh my gosh, I really don't, my hair won't grow past a certain length and blah blah blah. But if we teach the mothers, if this movement, and we stay in the forefront of it, especially kinkier textures, because most of us do have kinkier textures, if we stay in front of it, that's why it's so important, and we inspire those women we meet on the streets, because not everyone's on YouTube, not everyone's on Facebook or Instagram. And you know, we pass this on, and actually we need some, you know, we need to, you know, start teaching these things, and you know, having support meetings or something. So I don't know what I was trying to say right there, so let me take a moment. And another thing I noticed that it actually bothered me. I hadn't really talked to Julesy personally, like I don't know her personally, but of course that video was going around the natural hair community, and I remember I was like, it's hard talking about those things, because I had talked about them in previous videos, and I went and I commented on her video to show my support and just say, like, you know, I know that's hard to do. We all, you know, just to show my support and agree, like, it does exist. I know it's there. And what I noticed is, I'm like, you know, the video was going around, and I saw lots of naturals commenting on it, and it wasn't necessarily like they all, how can I say this, look the same in a way, like the support, and it, you know, there was a mixture in there. But what made me really think about that is whenever I looked at what just happened. Because basically her discrimination video was saying, you know, this texture is being left out and we don't really support it. Well, the white girl was like, well, why can't I be included in the natural hair community? And then I just see that all of these women just coming to show and shower with support. And I was just kind of like, that's backwards. I mean, I didn't see that same support when that video came out. And you know, I don't have any tea right now, I can't sip it. But yeah, I'm like, think about that, because that video was going around. That's how I saw it. I'm like, you know what, more power to you, sister. I believe you. I know. I see it. I acknowledge that, because it is the truth. So how can we fix it? And it takes the other side, the women with type 3 hair, to also acknowledge that truth and to squash the ignorance, as I say, whenever we hear it on the streets and all of those things. Because if we're doing it, there's power in numbers. If we are squashing it out there, it'll slowly start to die down. But if we're not supporting them, it's gonna continue. But like I said, I hate the hair typing system. I believe we need to stand united. This is a movement for women of color, and it's important. Like, I have a friend, her hair is very loose and curly, very similar to the girl from the Curly Nikki post, like so serious. And this is what happened to her. She was in some trainings for work and had been pulled aside, actually on 2 different occasions, from people about wearing her hair pulled back. And I mean, these are those, what people like to call good hair curls, like that. I was talking to her about it, because she supports my fro, I support her hair. We both know our struggles and we acknowledge that, and I mean, we celebrate each other. But she was like, if there was a white woman with the same hair type, she's like, that wouldn't have happened. And I was like, I believe you. I believe you. So this is not just a hair type thing. It is also, the natural hair movement is also for women of color. And I'm like, we need to show the support, and we need our other sisters to back the sisters that are not getting as much support. And I just don't think some people are ready for that truth, and they're not acknowledging it. And I think it's sad, but they will acknowledge this girl's pain over here. I just was really confused. So, and I'm saying all of this because it's important for our kids. Whenever I see them sitting there getting bullied, I see their hair breaking off and never getting a chance because they don't see enough of this. They don't see enough fros being represented as beautiful. So why do you think we have things like Ebony and Essence? Because we're not included everywhere else. You see like your token black person a lot of times. And there is a video, and this is where it's more so about the message and not the messenger. There's a TED Talk that I really like, forgot the supermodel's name, but she acknowledged her privilege, and she's talked about how it was not fair. I will link this video in the description box, and I was so down for her message. She was saying, I would know I was born into this system that my ancestors created, to where I am privileged and I am this standard of beauty, and I don't think it's right. I don't think it's fair, because some people think, okay, well, you know what, I see 2 black women. There's Tyra and Naomi Banks on the, not Tyra and Naomi. There's Tyra Banks and Naomi Campbell on the catwalk. So, you know, they've made it. You know, black women are represented. She's like, but that's 2 women compared to all the thousands of white models that are walking down the catwalk right now. She's like, so no, it's not okay. And I was like, she acknowledged her privilege and was like, you know what? I have this because I was born into this. And some people are saying, well, when we don't include, it's just reverse racism. And I'm like, no, it will be reverse racism whenever they go through what our ancestors went through. And our ancestors had set up this system for us to be privileged and have this head start and have all these things that are catered to us. It's not reverse racism. We need the spaces because everything is already catered to a certain standard of beauty. And because we created this, now we saw the fruit of our labor. We saw more product lines, more things for our hair. The Target shelves are full now. So I mean, do you hear what I'm saying? And so like I said, the movement is different. It's important, and I want you to think. So what happened? Just do some homework. What happened to there was once upon a time where there was a Black Power, Black is Beautiful, Black Pride movement. We wouldn't need this natural hair movement if that was successful. What happened to it? What happened to it? We wouldn't be going through this right now. We would not have had to go natural if that would have been successful and would have lasted. Let me talk about, there was a commenter that said, well, India, because I'm like, I'm not racist. I mean, I don't think if someone disagrees about it, it doesn't make them racist. A commenter said, well, India, white people marched with us during the civil rights movement and this and this and that and blah, blah, blah. And I said, true, correct, duh. None of that would have really went down if we didn't have the support from some of them. And now I think that my last video I kept talking about it's okay for the support. Yes, they marched with us, but they did not make it about them. They didn't come in and start whining about, yeah, whenever we were at the sit-ins and stuff, we had the milk poured on us too. And they didn't talk about the discrimination towards them. They didn't make it about them. They were behind us, had our backs, and supported us. And that's what I'm saying here. You can do that. I'm like, how does that hurt you to support? But, I mean, if you start letting it happen, like, okay, yes, of course, that was one post, but if it continues and we just open it up, who is going to be at the forefront of the movement? What curl pattern do you already gravitate to? Because I know one is not being supported. And then on top of that, what complexion do you already gravitate towards? And I'm telling the truth because, like I said, I always tie colorism in it because things happen on our Facebook page. People don't understand we're sisters and it's our page, and they're like, why are you always posting lighter complected brown girls? Or we posted one girl had Afro-textured hair. It was like a huge thing. I ended up having to block somebody. Afro-textured hair, but she was really light, like really light skinned. And it wasn't about celebrating her hair. It became about, why you posting yellow bones? What about, and I mean, the post just before that, I had posted a darker complected sister. And it was just like, I'm like, why can't we just celebrate? I mean, both of those things keep us divided. That's why I still talk about them. And it's kind of just like, think about it. I'm like, why not just celebrate her beauty? We have to fix us first. And I think that's what I was really trying to say in the last video. We got to get us together. And this division we already have leaves it open for what's happening now to keep us even more divided. You get what I'm saying? So, we need to remain forefront. We need to remain visible. It's important for our kids. I don't think, like the girl, she said, so what's the point of this movement? And I'm like, we won't need this whenever our babies are able to grow up, learn and love their hair, and then if they decide like, hey, you know what, I just really like to flat iron my hair all the time, I might as well just perm it, and it's their decision to get a relaxer. But right now, for the most part, it's not their decision. And I'm not saying this is every black woman's story, every woman of color's story. It's not, but for the majority of us, it is. It is for the majority of us. Whenever we can grow up and we actually learn to love our hair, and they have that chance because their mothers taught them, then we will no longer need a movement because it was successful. But for now, I believe we need to stay at the forefront of it because we're not there yet, and I don't want to see them pushed even more so in the shadows, in the corner, because that's what is already happening with the hair typing division. So now I feel like if even more comes in, they're going to be pushed even further away. And I mean, some people act like we've already made it and we just have all this representation. And I'm like, please name all of these women that are on magazines and everywhere. I'm like, Lapita, she's just one. It's like we're not successful yet. We're still making it happen, and we need to stay in front of it. I don't know. There has to be a part 3, part 4. I mean, there's other things we have to talk about, like now there's money to be made. We have started spending our money on something that's like, do you not think that's a coincidence? Companies, websites being bought out. What else? I mean, history lessons. We need to talk about history. Black Girl Long Hair posted an article just now about when it was against the law for black women to wear their hair out. I mean, like, and why was it against the law for them to wear their hair out? Go look at that article. Think about that. And more so of our struggles. I wanted to make a part 2 because I hope this was better than the last one. I know y'all were like, oh my gosh, India, you were just talking too much. I mean, it's what I do sometimes. And I'm passionate about it. And I don't have kids, but I'm passionate about my kids. And I don't want to see any child struggle with that. But for the most part, yeah.